Hi, I'm Maria Hvorostovsky. I'm the founder and CEO of HVO Search. We're an executive search firm helping clients in luxury, lifestyle, beauty and fashion find senior talent internationally. In this episode, I'd like to discuss why measuring cost per hire won't help you grow your business and what will. So companies often measure cost per hire to understand how successful their recruitment process is. The formula is quite simple. Divide the total internal and external recruiting costs by the number of hires. It's an easy calculation to make, but there is a big problem with it. The metric only pays attention to cost, and it doesn't factor in quality, results, or time spent during the hiring process. So you may be spending less money, but finding all the wrong people. The metric simply doesn't work, and here are the 4 reasons why. Number 1, the focus is on price rather than value. Whilst being frugal with money is important in our turbulent market, it's the quality of hires that will determine the success of your business. Top companies are fiercely competing for talent, so it's paramount to get the hires right first time. And I touch on this in the first episode. So thinking like an accountant will move your business forward. Think like an investor instead. 2, poor candidate management damages your employer branding. Time-pressed and stressed recruiters cut corners. They don't feed back to the candidates and often don't even return their phone calls. Some of you have been on the wrong side of this, giving recruiters a bad name. I call this a candidate is just for Christmas mentality, and it's extremely damaging to your employer branding. Next time you want to hire that senior manager, they will think twice before they even engage in a conversation, let alone accept an offer. 3, it takes effort to attract the best candidates. Active job seekers are only 25% of the market, and engaging with the other 75% takes know-how, time, and money. And great recruiters are not cheap. And I mean both internal and external ones. They know their worth as they've spent years, decades even, building and maintaining relationships with the top candidates. And they know how to find and engage new ones. That's just beyond sending a message on LinkedIn. 4, cost per hire doesn't factor in all the costs. So for example, the cost of replacing a bad hire. Talk to anyone who's made an impulse recruitment decision, which turned out to be wrong, and they will tell you how time-consuming it is to have to start all over from scratch. Saving money in the short term can cost you dearly in the long term. So what can you do differently? Well, first of all, you need to shift your mentality from how much will this cost to who will deliver the best long-term value for money. And secondly, use a different metric called Employee Lifetime Value, or ELTV, instead. ELTV is an estimation of an employee's potential or actual contribution to an organization. Knowing this value will help you understand where there could be problems, and not only with hiring, but also with onboarding, training, managing, and promoting. So here's a graph with an individual's value or output on the y-axis, and their time at the organization on the x-axis. As you can see, the ELTV of an employee is negative when they start. I mean, usually at this point you're investing, so you're using your resources to hire and probably onboard them. This then increases over time if they're successful, and significantly drops when they resign, going to 0 on their last day. So how do you measure ELTV? Using revenue or number of sales as a unit of output is an obvious one. So the higher the sales of the individual on an ongoing basis, the higher the ELTV. But even if the individual does not generate revenue, it can still be related to their contribution. You can create your own units. So for example, the value on the y-axis for a marketing director can be the number of successful campaigns they run each month. If this campaign count increases over time, their lifetime value increases with it. So how can you make ELTV work for your business? You can use it to find out who is a high performer, who should be fired or promoted, or if your hiring process or criteria are wrong. To decide who is ready for promotion, you can compare the ELTV graphs of individuals on the same team. For example, your team of senior merchandisers or key account managers. As long as you use clear and unambiguous units of measure, you can see who's excelling and who is struggling. An increasing ELTV may signal the employee is ready for a promotion, whereas a decreasing ELTV may be a sign that they need training. When done right, the data can draw attention to what is and isn't working in your recruitment process. For example, when you hire a new person, say into your sales team, the ELTV will be negative or low at the beginning, but should start to increase as they get settled in and onboarded. Say your onboarding takes 3 months. Is their ELTV higher or lower than the standard for that team at that point? If it's lower, it's time for a review. Perhaps you decide they need more training, they're not a bad hire yet, or to extend their probation period. But what if their ELTV after 3 months is low for all your new hires into that team? It's likely that your hiring process or criteria for hiring are substandard or simply wrong. Knowing that there is a problem with your hiring criteria can help you be more clear on what you need to look for in a great candidate. As they say, you can't manage what you don't measure. Spend more time figuring out what the best unit of measurement for each candidate is. It will be much more worthwhile than measuring cost per hire. At HVO Search, we're always working towards simplifying process and how to apply better, more unbiased ways to assess and match candidates. We use a combination of our rigorous process, industry knowledge, and standardizing fit using behavioral science to constantly improve the criteria against which we evaluate candidates. So, to summarize, measuring cost per hire is not a useful metric. By focusing on just cost and not value, you can get the hiring process seriously wrong and not find those great candidates that will drive your business forward. This is not acceptable in the current competitive market, and it will cost you more money in the long run. So use ELTV to measure the quality and value of your team members and find out where the problem areas are within your recruitment. It's not always easy to do, but spend more time working out the successful criteria and better units of measurement. This way, you will find stronger candidates that will push your business ahead of your competitors. And if you still need some help with hiring, schedule a call with me on the link below.